welcome to the Pirate Round. I be Captain Turner, this be Captain Scultopus and Scarlet Raven. I'm your guest today. And I think today we're going to do another episode on pirate flags from history. Fact or fiction?
Ooh, that's the big
What is
question.
real? What is fact? What is myth? What is mythology?
That's right.
What is legend? What is lore?
Sometimes it'd be hard to tell.
That's right.
I think we're going to open with a little bit of a toast here.
Gotta have a little toast here.
This be the rum that Captain Scultopus has procured for us.
Oh, from the cursed skull.
Did you make a mountain red?
Making Mountain Red.
Now, Captain Scultopus, didn't you have a letter for this episode? I thought you had a letter.
Well, I'll look here in the
After we
in
do
the
our-
Book of
after we do
Grudges,
our-
and we'll see.
You're all right there.
Okay.
You're har.
Your har.
To our friends, present, past, and future.
Welcome
Your
to the
har.
Pirate Round.
Oh, that's so
Quite
good.
tight.
Yar.
Now, let me look in the Book of Grudges here and see who has contacted us. Let's see here. Okay, now, we've got a letter here from Camilla T. Tugwata. Camilla T. Tugwata is from the Upper Peninsula in a place called Michigan. Now, Camilla then asks, Dear Pirate Round, I notice that you do a lot of episodes on flags. If I have a My Pretty Pony flag and send it to you, will you do an episode on My Pretty Pony? Now, I hate to break your heart there, Camilla, but we're not going to do an episode on a My Pretty Pony flag.
Not unless you be a pirate.
Not unless it be a My Pretty Pirate Pony.
Skeleton horse.
Skeletal pony,
Yeah.
skeletal horse flag.
Yar.
So keep that in mind when you design your own flag.
Yar.
Now, you want to intimidate people, and you want to get the best of them with your pirate flag.
You don't want to be having pink rainbows and,
No.
Well,
and pretty stars. And,
Now, that's not saying you can't have that for your own flag.
Yeah.
But if you want to intimidate folks and take their booty and get the best of them, you probably want to have a pirate flag that has things such as skeletons, swords, blood drops, skull and crossbones, hourglasses, and such things like that. So if you've got a flag that's got a little pony on there with a rainbow and a unicorn and bottles of soda pop and candy, you might want to consider pirating it up a bit by making the horse skeletal, putting some rum bottles on there.
That's right.
Instead of a rainbow, put a thundercloud with a lightning bolt coming out of it, and things like that.
Or a nice, pretty red raven.
Well, that's cool. You could have a raven on there. So there you go. Always be a pirate, Camilla, and we appreciate your letters and keep them coming. So, on to more pirate flag things.
We are going to start with the most famous pirate flag of them all.
Oh,
And it's not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Pirate.
no,
It's
I wouldn't
the-
think so.
What is that?
Oh,
Who is that?
That'd be Jack Rackham,
Calico Jack
Calico
Rackham.
or John Rackham, as they say.
John Rackham.
Probably the most famous pirate flag of them all.
Right, true.
This is the flag that gets used in movies and in books and in art and games and many, many other things. This is probably the most famous pirate flag.
Be nice and simple. It gets the point across quite quickly.
It's a very good flag.
Yar.
But you know what's a really sad thing about this flag?
It's black and white.
It's black and
Should
white.
be in color.
Should be in color. Technicolor.
Technicolor. Rainbows.
There is no known description found except by the dubious NMM manuscript of May, and it is in fact a fictional flag.
That's too bad. No, it can't be true.
It's sad. It's sad. It'd be a sad, sad day that Jack Rackham's flag. The only way that Jack Rackham is really known is because of this flag, and of course Anne and Mary,
Well, his association with Anne Bonny and
Right.
Woods Rogers
Right.
and Mary
of
Read,
course,
and
yeah.
right, and his theft and everything else,
Yeah,
which is a sad thing.
true.
But it's a fake flag.
Well, I like it though.
It's a great flag.
And
It
there'd
is
be many
absolutely-
flags very similar to this.
Oh, true.
Correct.
True.
So it's not entirely devoid of substance, but
No,
it's,
no, that's true. Now, there's one thing that's very interesting about this flag here, and they use it for the pirate flags all the time.
I don't know if I have it in there.
Well, it's okay. There's one thing that they let's see here. We'll leave it off, but so there's a difference between this flag,
We'll
which
flash
shows-
it up. We'll flash it up.
which shows the cutlashes. All right. Now, if you have a skull and crossbones, it's just got a skull with crossbones, that can actually be a sign for poison
Yeah.
or caustic liquids.
Yeah.
And so,
Or death.
or death,
death,
which
right.
fits into the piratal thing. However, in order to differentiate this piratal flag or banner from that of something that might denote poison, you can put cross sabers under there,
Right.
which means attack or fighting. So you've got the skull, meaning death, and then you've got the crossed sabers or cutlashes that says fighting. So that's why I think this flag is so popular that you see, because it really does talk about pirates rather
Right.
than, oh no, it's a poison on the bottle, don't drink it.
Right.
Yeah, so many movies have used this flag.
Oh yeah.
It's impossible to just mention them here. A few of them, I believe Jack Sparrow's flag was very similar to that flag in many
Yeah,
ways.
it had a sparrow on it somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island,
Right.
yeah. Black Sails, it's at the very end, the very last episode of Black Sails, you see it there.
Right, with Jack and Anne and Mary and,
True.
and his crew.
Yep.
This next one, the 3.
Oh, look at that.
Now this is what we're talking about the poison.
Yeah,
We'll
if there
flash
was
this up
one
here.
wasn't enough, they had to put 3 on there.
Right. Now, this was credited to Christopher Condent, 1718 to 1719. This flag gets dated back to 1704, and only after 1923 is it actually associated with Christopher Condent. So this was probably a real flag, because there is documentation going from 1718, 1719, and even as far back as 1704. But it's probably really not Christopher Condent's flag. It may have. It's hard to say because it didn't show up and it being associated with Christopher Condent until 1923.
Well, now, and very often, like you're saying, if it's just the bones and the death's head, that would be associated with anything like death, poison, or just death itself.
Death itself,
Yeah, I've got the ring here with the memento mori.
Memento
Remember that
mori,
you die, and it's.
yeah.
But what's interesting is that it doesn't necessarily have to be the crossbones. It could just be a bone,
Or a skull.
or yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But very often it would just be something showing the death's head and some manner of bones.
Right. It's odd that they would be 3. As if 1 wasn't enough. You had to show them 3 there to get the point across.
Right.
People weren't that swift back then. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, they had to differentiate themselves from
Right.
the pirates with just one.
yeah.
Now, these next 2 flags are very, very, very similar, and they're very, very famous. They're probably as famous as the Calico Jack and the Blackbeard
Yeah.
flags, and they are both associated with the same person. I will flash up the red one.
Ah,
Okay.
There's the red,
There you go.
and then we have the black one.
Oh, okay.
Actually, let me switch there.
Oh.
Because you've got any notes. You'll be
Yeah.
hiding notes.
Well, that's okay.
So this would be the black flag, and the black and red. If we've talked about this
Right.
before, they would have different meanings.
Right, the red is no quarter
No
given.
quarter,
You're
yeah.
going to all die.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you give up now or never, you're all going to die.
Yeah, no
Now
quarter
this
given.
is associated with Henry Avery, who goes down in history as probably the most successful pirate. Now Henry, we've talked about him in the past.
True.
Kind of just fades away in history, and
Yeah,
may
got
have-
away with it.
Got away with it all.
Yep.
This supposedly was 1694 to 1695, and it was the first bona fide record of a skull and crossbones was actually in the 1700s. So that would predate. That would come way after.
Yeah,
excuse
true.
me,
Yeah,
Henry Avery
Yeah.
by 6 years. The first one was actually 1700s was Emmanuel Wayne, that actually is the first one that's actually really recorded as a true pirate flag.
True.
The profile, earring, and bandana are devices are not seen on authenticated pirate or other flags of the period. The bandana and earring did not really become associated with pirates until Howard Pyle paintings in the 1880s and later, and the flag showed up in the 1920s and 30 time frame.
Right. Yeah.
Which is sad because this actually flies in front of the captain and I's home when we're not sailing.
Well,
Yeah.
this one does here.
Or the black one, not the
Yeah.
red one. It's such a great
Yeah.
imagery.
Classic
But
imagery.
people know it. People
Oh, yeah.
know it. You know
That's
that
true.
that's definitely a pirate flag. They may not know that that's Henry Avery.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I'll hand that over to the captain now.
Yeah, it's odd, that they would have the iconography here of the earring and the bandana. And it would be associated, I think, with roguish behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Men with earrings, pirates or a circus strongmen or something like that. And the bandana, probably the same thing, probably a roguish behavior. And I think the artist wanted to say these are rogues. They fit outside society's norms. They don't bathe, they don't cut their hair, they don't wear fancy gentlemen's hats. Instead, they wrap a bandana around their head and they put gold in their ear, and they're dangerous because of the skull and the crossbones there.
Now, we just mentioned a name there, Emmanuel Wayne.
Emmanuel Wayne, yes. Well, that makes a lot of sense there.
Right.
You got the hourglass, and then you got the skull and crossbones.
Right. Now, this one is pretty much considered authentic.
Mm.
This was from the 1700s. Sable ensign with crossbones and a death's head and an hourglass. Emmanuel Wayne. So this one is probably an authentic one because it was documented.
A sable ensign means black or dark.
Right.
Very dark.
Right.
Yeah, an ensign is another name for a flag, an ensign. Now, I would think that probably has a lot of authenticity behind it. Don't you think there, Captain Turner?
Looks like it.
Yeah, you got the things that people will recognize. The hourglass, meaning that your time is short. The death's head, meaning, of course, death.
Right.
Now, the black flag, meaning, outside society's norms, we're pirates. We fly the black flag, that sort of thing. I personally like that quite a bit, and it's got the hourglass on there.
Now, this next one is a very detailed one in many ways. It's a red flag with the arm holding the dagger, the winged hourglass. I'll hold that up there. Now, you probably never guess who that would be.
I could figure that one out.
It's very colorful. This is Christopher Moody.
Oh, Chris Moody.
Robert's crew. Let's see, what have I got here? So he was hung at Cape Corso Castle. William Moody, featured in the late 18th century French source with a variation of wreath around the skull, dates to about 1746 and again about 1923. So we don't really know if that's a true flag or not, but it's interesting with the death head, the arm with the dagger, the winged hourglass.
Yar.
Time flies.
And the yellow, which we haven't seen a whole lot of yellow on these.
Well, that wouldn't make a lot of sense there.
No,
It's a
it's-
combination
Yellow
of
flag
very
typically
different
meant
shades.
being that there was sickness.
Yeah, they
to
were
avoid.
quarantine. Yellow flag,
Yeah.
the yellow jack. Don't go ashore. Don't go on board ship.
To raise the yellow jack.
I'm not quite sure. It's got all sorts of different things. I mean, it might be kind of confused. It's almost like a language, like a semaphore language there.
Yeah.
Time flies. You're going to get slashed, and it'll end up in death.
That's right.
Yes.
Something like that. I don't
And it
know.
doesn't make a whole lot of
Time
sense
is
to
not
put,
with
the,
you. Yeah.
to put the hourglass on the red flag, because the red flag means it doesn't matter whether you surrender or not.
Yeah.
And the yellow one suggests that you better surrender quick.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
kind of
Right.
no
Makes
quarter.
sense.
You wouldn't put it on a red flag. It'd
No.
really confuse the heck out of people.
Now, this is another really famous one.
Oh,
This dates to about supposedly the time of Henry Avery.
Yar.
This is, do you know who?
Um,
I'll show that again.
Captain Tew, I believe.
Thomas Tew.
Right, Thomas Tew.
Yep.
Dates 5 to 8 years before the earliest current pirate incident of the type. No source show that Thomas Tew actually flew a black flag. The sword and arm device well known and used throughout the 17th century, though.
Well, that's true. Now, Tew did sail the pirate round.
Right.
So he must have had an ensign that he took with him.
Correct.
Whether it would be an actual ensign of England or of the colonies in America. I mean, it sort of gets its point across, being black and being a sword on there. with
But
the
it does
arm.
predate Tew, so it's probably not the ensign that Tew flew. But it's an interesting flag. Now, all of these flags that we've done in these 3 episodes, are really great because they've all gotten an interest into pirates, and it's how
That's
we
true.
all associate with a lot of pirates. Whether it be Teach or Rackham or Avery or Tew or whoever. And a lot of times, many of us nowadays in the pirate reenactment, we all have our own flag. We have our skull with ravens and the crossed cutlasses, which is actually like this one here. It's on
Skull in profile, too, which would be mine.
There we go.
Yeah, whoops, look out there. And then, of course, Scarlet Ravens show our flag there.
Right,
Up
right,
there.
which is
Yeah.
there. And if you stay to the end of these episodes, you see the ensign on the end of it, which is done here by Captain Turner for
Yeah,
us.
Captain Turner designed it there, which makes it a very good design.
So with that, we'll be done with flags. I'll hold this one up. Who can guess it? Who can guess it? Who can guess it?
That'd be
That'd be a Thatch.
Fictional Edward Thatch.
Fictional Ed
That'd be the
Thatch.
fictional Edward Thatch.
Yeah,
But
not that he be fictional, but
no,
the flag.
we know
Yeah.
that Thatch actually existed, but
Right.
that's
I have this flag hanging in me den.
That's a nice flag.
it's a good flag. It's a very good flag.
You know, we should
The
talk about.
iconology.
We
of
should
it.
talk a bit about it, you know, because it's got everything we need. So you've got the skull with the horns, meaning old Roger, the
Right.
devil.
Roger
Right?
himself.
Which we've talked about in our first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
but
And
we'll-
he's got the
we'll-
hourglass there in one hand, meaning
Time
time
is
is short. Now he's stabbing a heart.
They
they
with
call it a
spear.
dart, but we call it a spear.
It's a spear, and he's stabbing the heart, and then of course the blood drops coming off.
Yar.
That you know it's death. He's going to kill you. And of course it's on a black background, meaning it's under the black flag.
Which is interesting, to kind of hit upon old Teach, Thatch, Blackbeard, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him, is he's got this fierceness about him and this reputation. But the only time he ever killed anybody, sorry, I've got an ice cube, was the last fight.
That's true. He had a reputation. It was all about reputation, and he knew exactly how to present himself as a very threatening figure, and knew that, well, you can get more people frightened that way if you have a reputation, of course, being
Right.
very bad.
Right, reputation being a big
Part of it.
man, with this swarthy skin and this big beard that
True.
supposedly he had the matches,
Yar.
braided into it that were lit, causing the smoke and everything else, and all these guns and these cutlasses and
Right.
quite a fierceness about him. And having even if this flag was real or not real, it sets a standard.
Well, it does, and the thing is, it's all about images. When a ship approaches and there's way more crew than normal. Most merchant ships had just barely enough crew to man the ship. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes the ship. And it looks as slow. I mean, your ship is slow, but it's a sleek, fast ship. And all of a sudden, you look on there, and they've got 3 or 4 times more crew than normal.
Right.
And they're
You
beating.
got these guys
Yeah,
waving
they're waving
things,
cutlasses, and they're beating on the
shooting
deck like
guns,
that.
and
On a slow beat, and they've got them. All of a sudden, they hoist the black flag. Well, there's trouble. It's a
they're
pirate
whooping and
ship.
hollering and screaming and
Yar. And then,
yelling
and then, of course, you look at that and you say, "Oh no, it's a pirate flag," and your captain may be suicidal then and try to run. Well, then they'll roll this down, and they'll put up the red flag, meaning if we catch you, we'll kill you, every one of you. So it's all about images, folks.
So it's about time we end this episode. We're gonna say a quick advertisement to the International Pirate Rendezvous in Zolpik, Germany, in August 7th, 8th, and 9th. It'll be a fun event to go to. It's the second annual one, but unfortunately we can't make it.
No,
Other plans, and we're not
that's what
rich
happens.
pirates.
That's what happens.
So
Yar.
maybe someday, maybe you'll come to the United States. We'll make it international. Come to the United States, and then you can get the American pirates to come.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
Yar.
But anyway, Captain,
Well, folks, thank you so much for this episode of the Pirate Round. We're going to pour out our salutation, our finishing salutation here. And I'd like to say, stab that subscribe button with your cutlash. And I want to say to you folks, thank you for watching this episode. And always be strong, always be true to yourself, always be a pirate. And don't let anyone grind you under your boot heel, because you'll be a pirate. And you don't have to take shite from no one. And so we say smooth sailing and yar har.
Yar.
Yarhar. And merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.